Reporting from GenCon 2016, here's Mark Arnaudo, and I'm sitting down with James, who is one of the designers, actually the lead designer of Last Front, the strategy card game. A card game with a World War II theme, and I like war games, or in any case, war theme games, so I was pretty curious when I saw this booth and I stopped by. And now, James will be kind enough to tell us a little bit about the game. Thank you, James.
Yep. So I guess the easiest way to describe it is a bidding take-that style game. The goal is to capture territories. There are 4 different territory types, and of each territory there are 3 of each. So there are 3 Germanys, 3 USAs, 3 USSRs, 3 Great Britains. The goal is to get 2 of the same kind, so 2 Germanys, whatever, or 3 of any kind. And those are the victory conditions. It fits, there are 2 styles of gameplay. There's a 2-player style, which is kind of a different mode, but generally it was designed as a 3 to 6 player game.
Okay.
So, let me find a couple of examples here. We have unit cards, troops, tanks, planes, and support. Support units are interesting because you can play the higher value. If I'm attacking, say, Germany here in the middle, or one of my opponents, I play it at the lower value, the A value. If I have Germany and people are attacking me, I get to play it at the higher value.
The defense.
The defense value, which kind of de-incentivizes people from just like endlessly you know, sniping each other back and forth, because it makes it a little easier for people to hold on to territories. If I capture a territory, I also get a territory bonus, and these are unique based on the country. So in Germany's case, it's a +1 to tank units. USA gets +1 to troops. Great Britain's +1 to tanks, and then USSR gets +1 to support units. And those can those are like permanently in effect as you're playing a battle, from battle to battle, unless they're blockaded or whatever. So we also have special cards. These are your burn cards, right? And booster cards. They have a instruction or whatever. It says what it does, but also it has a face value. So, for example, if none of my opponents had a support units in their display, and I still wanted to stay in, I could play it at the higher value, or the face value, by turning it upside down. And then similarly, we have icon cards, same deal. Montgomery affects tanks. If I don't have any tanks, so I still want to stay in, I could turn them upside down, play them at the face value instead. And then finally,
so that's good, because you never get stuck with an effect that you cannot apply.
Right,
This is something you can do, because that's something pretty irritating in a lot of games that have these special conditions,
Yeah, and it's one of those things that came through in early play testing at Indie PopCon. Someone said, why don't you just put a face value? I was like, why don't we do that? That sounds like an outstanding idea.
That's a simple fix, and I wish more games had that idea.
Yep. And so additionally, we have draw event cards, which lets you draw from the event deck. The event deck is full of things that'll, potentially.
Can we peek?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They can greatly affect the course of the battle. They're either usually really good for you, or really bad for one person, or generally bad for everybody. So, like, War Bonds is a really good card for you to get. Because it lets you draw up to your hand, into your hand 2 extra cards. The only times you draw cards into your hand are at the start of your turn, and then when you either decide to withdraw from a battle or if you win. So yeah, those kind of things are super helpful. And then other things like winter, for example, affects everybody, and it applies a -1 to everybody's card. So basically, a 1 is now worth 0, 2 is worth 1, etc., etc. So that one can be like really rough if it comes out. So yeah, it just adds a little extra chaos. If you're not doing well, or you're doing like a Hail Mary, it's kind of nice to have an option to hope that the winds of war will just shift in your favor. And sometimes it does. So
how long does it take typically to play?
I mean, it really varies. Generally, 45 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes is about average. If you get into like a really certain people that really want to just kind of like fight amongst each other, like attack each other's territories or whatever, that can draw it out a good bit longer. But because of the fact that you don't draw up that often, it sort of balances out a little bit. So yeah, 45 minutes.
And does the length of the game changes based on the number of players?
It does somewhat. Again, it really balances out because what usually happens is a couple people end up deciding that they've committed enough where they have no choice but to keep fighting for whatever territory it is, and the other people are kind of biding their time and they've built up extra cards and they're going to have a bigger hand. So it's going to kind of a lot of push and pull between who's active and who has the most territories and what territories you're going after and all that kind of thing. So the two things that affected the game length the most are how vindictive your players are towards each other.
Oh,
and
in my group that would be a factor.
Yeah, and the order in which these appear. Like in the last game we just played, we got
these would be the territories.
The territories, yeah, that you're fighting over. We got 3 Germanys in a row. So we had 2 of us had a single Germany territory, and then that third one came up. So it was between basically 2 of us to win it, or the other thing with these territories, that territory bonus I mentioned earlier, because he had one and I had one, neither of us got the bonus. So that also factors into deciding who you're going to attack. And the winner of the previous battle decides the next battle, and it just goes from there. So
excellent. Thank you for this introduction of Last Front. The game is available here at GenCon 2016, and where else can people order it or find it in any case?
Our online shop should be up soon, and you can find us through Kickstarter. Actually, the story page on Kickstarter.
All right.
There will be a link. That's probably the easiest way to find us.
So it was on Kickstarter, but now it's finally available for the general population, not just for the backers.
Correct.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, appreciate it.